When Mitch called me and talked to me about being the head coach here at Kentucky, I understand the assignment. We are here to win banners.
Back outside. This is the point where he always hits it. Oh! Aaron Harrison beyond belief.
Welcome into Kentucky Roll Call here on Friday, March 27th. I'm Stephen Peak. TJ Walker will be here shortly.
We got the ghost of TJ on the stream right now.
Yeah, should I have switched over? I don't like taking his chair. That's TJ's chair.
No, it's fine because he's going to be here in just a few minutes. It's just funny to look at.
It is, yeah. Producer Matt, how are you doing today? We had so much to talk about. We got Sweet 16 games to recap and preview. We got the Louisville Kings kicking off their season tonight. I got my tickets. Are you going?
I will be there.
Hell yeah.
I'll be credentialed in the press box. I'll be there.
That's awesome. I'm excited for it. There's a halftime show. Are there going to be halftime shows every game?
Yeah. No, it's just for all the teams have one for their opening season game.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Dude, I'm pumped for this. And I walked outside today and I was like, oh, this is football weather. This is going to feel like a fall day watching some football. This is so cool. I'm actually, I didn't think I'd be this excited for the Louisville Kings. And admittedly, I don't know very many players. Honestly, I don't even know who they're playing tonight. But I'm excited about it. Who are they playing?
They are playing the Birmingham Stallions.
All right, are they good?
They're by far probably the best team in the league. They did win the league last season. They have, overall, probably the best roster in the league. Their wide receiver core alone has multiple guys who were drafted in the NFL in the past couple seasons. So it's going to be a tall task for the Kings to win this game, but everybody around the UFL, like they are the new guys on the block, says that this team has a lot of talent on it. Even minus the Louisville, Kentucky guys that we know that are on the team, like the guys that have been in the UFL already, they have some tenure there. The ex-NFL guys who brought in, they love this roster. They think that the coaching staff can do well. There's a lot of experience on this roster. They think that this team can do something this season, which I'm excited about. But you're right. The weather. We already talked about when you walked in that, it looked like the most beautiful week of the year so far. Yeah. And then, of course, the one day that sports are going on in Louisville, not just the Kings, but the Bats opening day as well today. And it's just going to look a little ugly. But the same, like you said, it's not too cold. It's not too hot. You put a little hoodie on, go out there and enjoy yourself tonight. And it's supposed to not rain, I think, anymore for the rest of the day, or at least not during game time. It's going to feel great. It's going to be a good time having some pro sports in Louisville, just starting up all at the same time. I'm ripped for this game. I'm revved up.
I think Louisville City, they're playing tomorrow, right?
I believe that's accurate. I don't know for sure though. I don't have their schedule.
Okay,
I think you could. I think you're right.
I thought, yeah. No, wait, they might be playing on the road tomorrow. Regardless, it's going to be weird seeing that stadium with the football lines and the football, the goalpost up.
I've seen people. So there's a Louisville Kings Discord. It's where a bunch of the fans have gathered to talk about the team and stuff and drop information and stuff. And some people are saying they're up there tailgating at 2:00 today. They're going to be repping it all.
Really? They would take off work for this? That's awesome.
Yeah, if they're off, they're going up there. They're making sure there's a whole tailgate map lot set up where there's people bringing in food and stuff for everybody to get. It's going to be a real serious tailgate.
I love that. Man, I love that.
I wish I could attend, but I cannot.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to tailgate for this either. But it is going to be a sellout, right?
Yes. It's 99%. I think that because that doesn't count the standing room area tickets that you can buy or something like that. They never technically, I don't think.
Which is what I got, I think. I got the SRO.
But as of right now, it's basically a sellout, yes.
Dude, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the atmosphere. And I'm gonna bring my little camera with me and gonna get some footage of it. And we usually do travel videos for KSR on the KS YouTube, Matt. And so I'm gonna get some footage. I was thinking about it earlier this week, and as they were talking about the sellout, and I was thinking, I would actually kind of like to see what that crowd will look like. And then I was like, I should probably buy a ticket and then get video. So because if I'm curious, I'm sure other people will be curious.
There's apparently supposed to be not just fans, but a lot of people flying in for this game, across the country.
What?
So obviously, us three on the 3-man front who did our show last night, we're all credentialed for the season, to cover the team and stuff like that. But they sent out a mass email to everybody who's in the media last night saying, hey, if you want to, here's your parking validation, but be surprised if there's actually a spot because they're having so many people. They've had to turn down some local media people from getting credentialed for this game. Because, like just yesterday on our show, we had James Larson. He's an insider for Pro Football Newsroom. Come on the show with us. He's in town for this as well. There's people all over the UFL, all over the country coming in for this, especially because it's going to be on Fox. It's going to be on primetime TV tonight.
What do you mean by coming in from all over the country?
Like the flying in from Arlington, Texas, where the teams are from. Flying in from there, like media people from other teams across the UFL are also coming in to watch this because it is the inaugural game. So it's a big deal for not just the fans, but just for the league itself. And there's going to be a lot of people there.
And this will be broadcasted on like Fox, like the network.
It's going to be on Fox, yes, tonight.
That's crazy. I'm really looking forward to it. Do you think that we have a chance?
I think we do have a chance. Everybody that I've talked to so far, like I said, the Stallions do have a really, really stacked roster. It's one where you can tell they've really invested in that team.
Is there anybody I would know off their team?
Their head coach is A.J. McCarron.
Okay.
You know him. I'm trying to
I pulled up their roster just to see if I could scroll through it and see if there was anybody.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head right now that you would really like, 100% I've watched this guy play multiple times. But it's a lot of guys who have veteran leadership within the UFL, been late in the NFL before, so it's stuff like that. But everybody in the media thinks that Louisville has a genuine chance. I think the spread's 4.5 right now.
Okay, all right.
It was yesterday.
So we're not talking about a monumental upset.
Might have moved up or down, but like as of yesterday, it was 4.5.
T.J. Carter, former Kentucky Wildcat, on
Walker.
T.J. Walker is in the studio. What perfect timing! I'm talking about T.J. Another T.J. walks in. Do you remember T.J. Carter?
No.
Okay. Apparently he played at Kentucky. But a defensive end.
I'll take your word for it.
Plays for the Birmingham Stallions. TJ, you gonna be watching the game tonight?
It kind of rings a bell. I'm excited for the Louisville Kings. I'm not excited to. Well, I'm not excited enough to go to the game. We have plans, so unable to. Bummed with the weather that you all are going to have.
Oh, what are you talking about? This is football weather. This is perfect.
Football weather, that's for sure. If you just have last week's weather, I don't know. I really think that it even adds to the attendance. And they have announced a sellout. Now, it will not look like a sellout.
Really?
There's a lot of, I guarantee it. There's a lot of standing room only, and I get that's just going to be somewhat open, I would imagine, tonight. I think they wanted to announce a sellout. They needed to announce a sellout. Sounds better, looks better if you get a sellout. And I think if you have the weather last week, it probably looks even better on TV. It'll be a good crowd, but that weather is going to keep some people away. That's unfortunate. But I am excited to watch. I hope it looks like a sellout on TV.
You just need to herd the cattle into like the places where the cameras are.
Sure,
cameras are showing. I mean,
exactly. A couple things on the way in. Sorry. Had an 11 o'clock appointment and figured it wouldn't be an issue with the 12 o'clock radio show. Did get to the appointment just like 5 minutes later and thought it was knew it was a bigger house. Just knew it was in Oldham County. Knew it was a bigger house. Thought it was a ranch, which means just one story, just a one floor house. And this thing looks like a castle when I pull up to it. And it's like, oh no, this thing's going to take forever to measure. And it did, and it took forever. So it kept me, even with the built-in extra time, I was about 4 minutes late when pulling in. But I've got a little treat coming for you all. I feel like if you're going to be late, best come bearing gifts. My gifts are not available or ready right now, but it should be in about 30, 40 minutes or so. So apologies for being late. A couple things on the way in, Peak. Producer Matt talked about how people are already tailgating. I normally drive by 71, and that's part of the reason I'm a little bit late today is because 71 heading into 71 South from, I guess, the Genie to the Watterson is just a nightmare. So it actually had me going a whole different way. I didn't get caught in it, but it added a little extra time to avoid it. So at least I didn't get stuck in it. Otherwise, I'd be either doing the radio show from the car or it'd be a sports talkerless show today. But so I would drive past 71 with a lot of my inspections and did yesterday. Did not today. So normally I'd see all those flags and people tailgating. So I can't confirm it, but I'm not surprised Peak, you did mention people taking off work. Those people did not have jobs, obviously.
How they afford the tickets?
They make special deals.
Okay. Oh, good
They
for
make
them.
special deals. You have to read through a bunch of mumbo jumbo to get them, but yeah, they're affordable tickets for the Louisville Kings and the UFL. They're not trying to.
I got mine for $26.
To nickel and dime people. I think you get season tickets for $60. How do you feel about that?
I guess I should. Yeah, bad. I should have just gotten the season tickets. You're right.
I think that was like a special pre-sale thing, though. I don't know if that's still a deal they're doing. I could be wrong.
I think I saw it on Facebook relatively soon or recently. And then also I've got to call out producer Matt saying how all these people are flying in for the Louisville Kings Birmingham Stallions game. Producer Matt, no, they're not. I mean, come on.
Literally spoke to people yesterday. But if you want to be a Debbie Downer on your own radio show, go ahead. And you have been so down. Can you just enjoy some pro sports in your city?
And secondly, which media members are getting denied credentials? Well, I feel like we got to call these people out.
Michael Bennett got denied yesterday.
Okay, well, is Michael Bennett a media member?
He does do a radio show.
I didn't apply for one. But we do have somebody credentialed for KSR that's going to be shooting photos for us.
Listen, we're all excited for the Louisville Kings. We all want it to do well. I just don't believe in lying to oversell and overhype it. I'm not even saying that you're lying. I'm just saying we need to keep it in we don't need to say it's such a big ticketed, a big hyped event that media is getting pushed out.
Can I cut you off for a second? Are you allowed to have fun?
I love having fun.
Are you able to go home
Mr. Fun.
and your family's like, TJ, I hope you didn't have any fun today. I hope that you were the stone cold down radio.
Let's not deflect. Let's just, again, Michael Bennett got denied credentials. I think that maybe speaks for itself in another capacity. And any other bigwig media members getting denied credentials?
That's just the one that told me today.
Okay, don't get mad at me for pushing back a little bit on just.
I never. You were the one who said the word bigwig. I just said media people were denied.
And then what? Who are all the people coming in from out of town?
There are people from Pro Football News Insider coming in from town. There are people from the other teams around the league coming into town.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's the inaugural game for the season. Just because you can't be there because you couldn't get a ticket, you don't need to brag on everybody else.
You're the only person that's being negative and poo-pooing this at all is you.
You walked in and immediately said, "Well, I wish the weather was better for you guys going out there. Couldn't imagine you have to sit in that."
No, I didn't say I can't imagine having to sit in that.
TJ gave up having fun for Lent.
I'm done. He can't do it.
Not allowed. None of that's negative at all. If anything, you're the one being negative. It's almost like you were looking to pick a fight. The truth is, I do wish the weather was better for the UFL Louisville Kings. It's going to be a fringe thing in town to begin with. So ideally, I wish it was 70 and sunny like it was last week. Throw me in the unfun police jail.
You also mentioned they announced a sellout, but it's not definitely going to look like one. Mr. TJ Walker factually correct says
I care about our listeners, so when they turn on Fox tonight to watch the game and they're like, they said that was a sellout? That's not a sellout. And I'm letting people know that it will be. They sold out. They sold their tickets, but it's not going to be, quote unquote, a sellout shoulder to shoulder on TV. I am prefacing what will almost look like producer Matt. You want me to poo-poo it a little bit. It's probably going to look like a kind of a crappy crowd because people are going to be on the fence about wanting to go see the Louisville Kings to begin with, and the weather's not good. And do you know what Louisville fans are? I mean, you're a U of L fan. You should know Louisville fans better than just about anybody.
I do.
They don't show up to Jack Diddley. So I hate this for the Bats, too. It doesn't mean that I'm anti-Bats or anti-Kings. The Bats opening night tonight as well. They have a lot of special deals for them. I also wish the weather was better.
The Bats
for them.
are at home today?
Yes, they
our
are.
opening day is tonight.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy. So we got two. Wow, and then Louisville City's on the road. But I was saying that would be a crazy weekend for pro sports in this city.
I don't think there's been a daily radio show that has talked more Louisville Kings than me. And I'm going to have somebody of the three-man front giving me crap doing it?
I am.
I'll have beef with if you want Butt Slapper Kings Radio, tune into the three-man front once a week on Thursdays on Big X Sports Radio.
I'm just saying,
nothing but positive Kings stuff.
You're allowed. You're allowed to have fun. I'm not saying you're not allowed. You are allowed to enjoy things that go on in your city.
Everybody, come on down to Lynn Family Stadium where it's going to be 80 degrees and sunny, and you're going to get to see a couple people who were drafted on the Birmingham Stallions.
You go to Louisville City game, don't you? You called Louisville City games, didn't you? So you actually did have to butt slap a semi-professional soccer team.
But I wouldn't lie to people and
Who
say,
said I was lying?
Louisville City also would announce sellouts, and sometimes you'd look at the stadium and be like, oh, well, they announced a sellout, but I see an entire row of seats open over there. It's because it looks better for these teams to announce a sellout, which is just...
Doesn't that still count as a sellout? The tickets were sold.
I was the one who prefaced it by saying it still counts as a sellout. I'm happy they sold it out. It's great that they did sell it out. I don't think if you were going to the game, you're going to have people sitting on your lap, is my only point, Producer Matt. I think you are very excited about the Louisville Kings. We are all excited about the Louisville Kings. But me saying that the weather's not going to be good tonight, and I'm bummed about that for the team, and also saying that although it's announced to sell out, if you're going to the game, you're going to have some room, I would imagine. Easy, dog. Easy.
I'm just saying, you could have just been like, hey, pretty exciting day for sports in Louisville. You didn't have to, poop on everything that went out as soon as I walked in.
No pooping on anything, buddy. No pooping on anything. Easy, boy. Easy.
This was at least very entertaining radio. I've just, as a spectator to this argument, I've enjoyed it.
Don't make me go ahead and turn heel and root for the Birmingham Stallions, buddy.
Do what you got to do.
Listen, I'm...
Big Birmingham Stallions fan over here, defending champs.
You've lived in Louisville for a month now, buddy. All right, I think you're a bandwagon Kings fan. Come to think of it, this is Kings country.
I never heard him talk about the Kings last year.
I agree. This is Kings country in this room. I think you're a bandwagon fair weather fan.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Matt, they're gonna win tonight. Can you predict a win?
I'm gonna predict a loss.
Oh, well, there you go. There's the butt slapping.
No, don't predict a loss. No, you can't do it. It's got to be a win. It's got to be a win for the Louisville Kings and their inaugural UFL debut against the Birmingham Stallions, who had a few wide receivers drafted that one time.
It is. The only reason I almost didn't get a ticket is because I really, really am upset that I'm gonna miss the St. John's game. I was really looking forward to that. Want to see Rick Pitino take on the Duke Blue Devils tonight.
No.
And so, but I get a chance to see live sports. It's the first game that of Louisville Kings history, and so I'm excited for that. I can follow the game on my phone. Is it cool, TJ, that the game is on Fox?
I think it's awesome. I think that's great. I'm excited to watch it. It'll definitely be on at my house along with the NCAA tournament games as well. And I think at the end of the day, people unfortunately just don't care enough. But there are people that do. But I do think there is potential for this to catch on bigger than I am anticipating, and than I think just the average fan around these parts are anticipating. But you can bet on everything with this. You can bet on first touchdown score. Producer Matt mentioned the spread. Louisville's getting 5.5 points. They're plus 215 on the money line. If you think Benny Snell's going to get in the end zone, I think that's, to a certain degree, throwing your money away a little bit, because we don't know much about these teams. If there is somebody that does,
well, Matt does.
It's producer Matt, exactly. He may know. Well, this person's definitely going to score for Louisville or for Birmingham. Keep an eye on this person. He probably would have a better idea than I do. But these are people that have either played in the NFL, have had a cup of coffee in the NFL, have been in training camps, maybe drafted by the NFL, or they view this as their one-way, last-stop meal ticket to get back to the NFL. And they ain't playing on Fubo TV, YouTube.com. I mean, this is on national television. This is kind of cool, I think, for Louisville.
Think it's really cool.
I think it's a neat opportunity for the city. I think it's a neat opportunity for the state. I'm not expecting people from Bowling Green and Paducah to drive all over to come check this out. But I do think there's a chance where, all right, college basketball's over. Maybe you're just not totally into baseball, or you're somebody that gets into baseball a little bit later, or maybe you love baseball, but you realize you can punt on it for a month or two, and you want to scratch that football itch just a little bit longer. I think this is exciting. I wouldn't be surprised if this is successful in Louisville, where the crowds are good, whether or not they're officially sellouts or not officially sellouts, or you have extra elbow room or not. I could see this catching on. I hope that it does. And 5.5 points for their first ever game in Louisville. I don't know. I could see Louisville winning this. Plus 215. That feels like That feels like it's worth a sprinkle, in my opinion. But I don't know. We'll get back to the Chad Hennessy and Shermax picks of the day, the roll call picks of the day, a little bit later on the show. Yeah. Oh, and if producer Matt wants to make fun of something or poo-poo something, he could just ask me what I've got going on Saturday night instead of watching the NCAA tournament.
What is that?
I thought you'd never ask.
I didn't really care, honestly. You asked me to ask.
No, you seem pretty persistent about it. If you really want to know, I don't mind letting you know. But I'm going to see Matt Rife.
Oh, the stand-up comedian
and
crowd work guy?
And there's not a gun pointed at your head while you say that right now.
Well, I'm on the YouTube stream. Hello, YouTube.
Matt Rife. Are you a big Matt Rife fan?
But I will say Stephen Peake's not on the YouTube stream. You can't see what he is or is not holding. I am totally unfamiliar with him.
Really?
Yeah.
He got big on TikTok with this crowd work stuff.
That I have. So, I think our phones are obviously listening to us. I don't really think. I know that. But I'd say about 5 days ago, I saw him doing some of his crowd work. I didn't really know it was him, although he looked familiar.
Uh-huh.
And he was making fun of a British woman the way that she said aluminum and just going back and forth with her on that. And it was funny. I was laughing watching that, but I'm not overly familiar. I do know a lot of guys elicit a reaction similar to what producer Matt just said. Oh no, he's horrible. I can't believe you're going to see him. And then I've got Scooch blowing up my phone right now who's saying, you're a lucky SOB. He's so funny. I want to go so badly. But we've got some friends who asked us to go. They said, you all want to get dinner before
is he in Louisville?
And stuff like that. Yeah, playing at the Yum Center, if you can believe it.
The Yum Center?
Matt
Rife?
I've never seen a comedian at the Yum Center.
I saw Kevin Hart at the Yum Center.
Yeah, I saw, who did I see? I saw somebody recently, actually. It doesn't matter. I didn't really love that for comedy. I didn't I saw Nate Bargatze at Rupp Arena and I didn't love it. But I mean, Matt Rife might be the kind of, personality that can make that stage really work. He does do a lot of crowd work. The reason Matt gave that reaction is that he has he built up a big female audience. And then when he put out a special, because he wanted to be like a comics comic, so he kind of started bashing women and being
classic.
Yeah, joking. I mean,
always will move you up the ladder.
It really will. And people didn't like that too much because they were like, well, you built up this audience of people who like you, and then you just go on and just bash them because you want the respect of the male audience. But no, he's funny. People bash him for they didn't like his Netflix special, but he's definitely funny.
Your take, producer Matt.
I'm just not big on comedians that their whole thing is crowd work. I'm just not. I get that it's funny. It's niche and kind of used to be, not anymore. But I will be intrigued to hear what you say on Monday. Whenever you I want to see how he does crowd work in one of the biggest basketball arenas in the country.
See, that's a good point. I'm a little nervous about comedians in big arenas just to begin with. I don't know. I think there's something intimate about being in either a smaller theater. I thought the Palace was plenty big, and I didn't think I needed to do any bigger than that for a comedian. But I think when you're in a room of a couple hundred people for comedy, it's just something about laughing in an intimate room. And when you do it in an arena, naturally, there's going to be somebody too drunk. There's going to be somebody on their phone. There's going to be me watching the NCAA tournament games on my phone, probably. Although I would certainly do it quietly.
You're going to be watching the games?
Almost certainly.
Okay.
I'm excited for those games on Saturday. We'll get into plenty of basketball talk. I promise you that. But in an arena, it's not intimate. But
no.
You get what I'm saying. So I'm curious how it's going to go, and I'll go in with an open mind. I can't say I'm going in totally or completely unbiased because I have heard opinions about him, but I've never seen any of his stand-up or any of his work. So I love comedy. Who doesn't love
big
laughing?
Fan.
So we're going to do a little dinner. Enjoy
awesome.
Downtown Louisville, everything that downtown Louisville has to offer. So I'm excited about it.
We went to see Nate Bargatze in Rupp Arena, and there were people sitting next to us who were intoxicated, which is fine, until you start repeating the lines of every joke right next to me, loud. Like I'm hearing you way more than I'm hearing Nate.
Pre-joke, post-joke. Like they knew it was coming,
No,
so they let it.
Nate would say the joke, and then they would laugh and go, and then repeat the line that Nate just said.
Just like a parrot.
Yeah, so it's just an echo of the joke, and I'm like, we literally, it was that bad. I never do stuff like this, but we got up, and I just like, you know what? I'm gonna stand in the back, and we can watch from back there because this is ruining my experience by a lot.
Yeah, that'd be horrible. I would hate that. Don't be that guy. That's the thing about those. But that could happen in a small crowd too, right? But
But you're just so spread out in the big arenas too. That
Producer Matt, we do have some breaking Louisville King news. Which is good news. Good, and we would put it on the positive, happy scale.
Okay, you gonna tell me what it is?
The Orlando Storm, who is not the opponent tonight at Lynn Family Stadium, it's Louisville Kings' next opponent. The Orlando Storm have named former U of L quarterback Jack Plummer starting quarterback, so that's good news for the Louisville Kings.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he got picked up like a couple months ago, and they obviously didn't decide who their quarterback was, but yeah, good for him, I guess.
He beats out Dorian Thompson-Robinson, earning the starting job. I don't know much about UFL quarterback play. I don't know anything about Louisville's starting quarterback, just besides the fact of where he went to college, and even that is a little foggy at the exact moment right now. But I know Jack Plummer is a very limited quarterback.
I had Nick Roush actually text me today. I didn't even have his phone number. He texted me. He said, "Hey, this is Roush. Who's the player that was injured that's not going to be playing probably for the rest of the season?" And I texted him, and he was like, Is Jason Bean Louisville's starting quarterback? I was like, yes. And then he asked me like these questions. He was like, "Oh, okay, thanks. I'm writing something. You're going to be my source."
Did he cite you?
I don't know. I told
him,
I told him, I said, just make sure you at me as per sources.
I looked at the schedule.
That's cool that Roush has your number.
I don't know how he got it.
Yeah, lose it, buddy.
Appreciate it, Nick.
Matt, so week 7 they go at DC Defenders, and then week 8 they host DC Defenders. Is that right?
Yeah, they do like a back-to-back.
That is interesting.
I think every team in the league has a schedule like that. Where one team
at
they
Orlando
play back-to-back.
Twice. At Orlando Storm in week 2, then versus Orlando Storm in week 3.
Yeah, it's something with there's only 8 teams. They fit enough games in or something like that.
And the Dallas Renegades are in this. I have a Dallas Renegades shirt.
I guess you could make a case why not like spread them out a little bit, but I guess you get to know what you get to know.
So the Renegades came over from the XFL?
Benny Snell starting running back.
Yes.
Jason Bean starting quarterback, as you said.
Yes.
And then which wide receiver is going to Tariq Black going to be WR1? Or you think it's going to be Lucky Jackson?
I think it was going to be Jonathan Adams, but he's hurt, so I think it's going to be Lucky Jackson.
Okay. All right. And then who's the big star on defense?
Oh man, that's tough. Oh, what's his name? He's a cornerback. I'm blanking right now.
Is it Cameron
Dantzler? Cameron Dantzler. He's a big guy they grabbed early on. He was one of their first grabs in the draft. He was a big pick for them.
Okay. All right. I'm briefly looking to see if there's anybody on the Kings. Oh, Matt Corral.
That's the Stallions.
Yeah, I meant to say on the Stallions, but the former Ole Miss quarterback. Didn't he torch UK at Kroger Field?
Yes. Yep. Was that you're talking about the
Matt Corral?
Okay.
The Ole Miss quarterback?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Anthony McFarland, he played at Arkansas. Sounds familiar. All right, well there you go. That's your UFL talk for the year, for the week. But we will talk about that game.
So they win tonight.
Well, I can't. Well, and then you all should do a post-game show. I would call in, but we will talk about it on Monday. It will be fun. Peak will be there. Matt will be there. If I wasn't so incredibly popular, I would be there. Just kidding. We're celebrating
it's a curse, isn't it?
Celebrating my mom's birthday tonight. So that's got. Otherwise, I don't know. Between the Bats, the Kings, there's so much going on. But college basketball, most important. March Madness, even though the Cats aren't participating. They Sweet 16 last night. Fun games. We'll talk about it. Some blowouts, some close ones. And then we get to do it all again tonight. And our bets hit yesterday, which was exciting as well. This is Kentucky Roll Call. We're back after this on Big X Sports Radio. Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Get your text into the Gameday Men's Health text line. They're redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. You can visit GamedayMensHealth.com. They're redefining a new era in men's health. If you're just sluggish, something ain't right with the body. Summer, right around the corner. Let's get that body right. Get it right at GamedayMensHealth.com. Just go to the website. Maybe they've got something for you that you're not even expecting. You never know. TJ Walker, Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childress, 502-414-1450 is that text line number. Texter says, South End Josh here. Matt, any comment on how your team with preseason Final Four hype got bounced in the same round as UK? You love to voice your opinion on UK's shortcomings, but I don't hear you offer a lot of self-criticism for your team's own failures. Interesting, but typical of Little Sister fans.
I think I've voiced plenty about Louisville's shortcomings this season, considering Pat Kelsey has no recruiting class for next year. And, they had Final Four aspirations after they beat Kentucky in the third game of the season, which was fantastic to watch. But Michael Brown also just decided not to play, which sucked. But a lot of talk coming from somebody who watched this team also get bounced in the same round as a team that hadn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2017. And you guys were like national champions after you beat Purdue in an exhibition game that didn't count?
Hey, we were ranked number 1 on KenPom after the second game of the regular season, Matt.
And Kentucky also won the Kentucky Tourism of
the BB&United United Tip-Off Classic presented by Kentucky Tourism. Champs. You got that right.
Kentucky had a good season, man.
I think Kentucky fans have been very critical of the season they've had. I think the point South End Josh is making is that you haven't been as critical about U of L. But I will say producer Matt he has not been your typical U of L butt slapper. U of L fan, it is just an interesting divide. I always talk about it. Maybe it's just something about living in this city, but UK fans are more negative about their team just in regards of they use negativity as like, hey, it needs to be better.
Yeah.
And Louisville fans are sometimes blindly positive where they use the positivity as like, hey, this is how we'll make it better. Let's just lie and talk about how good it is. But producer Matt was critical, and I do think U of L fans as a whole have not been as honeymoonish with Pat Kelsey as they would have been with a Chris Mack or a Scott Satterfield or some of these other guys. I think they are that you do have your just notorious butt slappers that are just going to support everything 24/7 regardless. But I do think more U of L fans have an ear up with Pat Kelsey. Like, something. All right, buddy. Like, I don't know if it's good or if it's bad, but you gotta make it a little bit better than what it has been. So I give Louisville media more credit than normal.
They have only made the Sweet 16 6 times in 20 years.
Wow.
And 3 of those got vacated, I think. So according to NCAA records, that's 3 times in 20 years that they've made the Sweet 16. I won't use the ones that got taken away. I'll give them 6. They haven't made one in a decade.
2015, 11 years.
TJ, I was 25 years old.
Yeah. The good old days.
That's crazy. I've been married twice since the last time they played in the Sweet 16. That is wild. I mean, I was a totally different person the last time that Louisville played in the second weekend.
I'm not too worried about U of L, though, just because UK has been kind of booty cheeks.
No, yeah, and
so it's fun ripping on those guys.
But that's what I'm not even doing that. I'm not ripping on them. I'm amazed. Yeah. This is the tier right below Blue Bloods.
Times are tough around these parts.
They are. I mean, like, Indiana fell off a long time ago, but Louisville, I thought, in 2005, when they went to the Final Four, I thought they're going to be good my entire life. I'm going to have to deal with these idiots my entire life. Because they're going to go to multiple Final Fours under Rick Pitino. They're going to win multiple national championships. And all I know, they went from one Hall of Fame coach to the next Hall of Fame coach. So why would I think that they're going to have a dud hire? They've been pretty good my entire life, and now they're great. Well, now this is going to suck. Well, since then, that was 21 years ago, they've gone to just 6 Sweet 16s. I'm not saying that to dunk on them. I'm saying that to, like, how did that happen? This is a legendary basketball program. It is. Yep. When you get multiple coaches to win national titles, you're in that next. You're not a flash in the pan. and to see I mean, I don't feel bad for them, but I'm just sort of amazed that it has been this long since their fan base has seen a second weekend. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised with the patience that they've had through it.
I think patience is a strong word.
For some people, I don't think everybody feels that way.
But I get your sentiment. I think it's the fact that there was so much apathy during the Kenny Payne 2 years that it just kind of subsided. Like I feel like a lot of fans were at the point where like, okay, this is just unfortunately what it is now. And now because of that, the whole Pat Kelsey stuff is amped up in terms of, okay, well, he needs to win now. And I am kind of on the fence that like I think that with the issues that Louisville's had in the past 10 years, I think it's very humbling that it's going to take Louisville a little more time than a lot of us think it's going to be to get back to that point.
Well, can it happen next year? I mean, it can, obviously it can. Do you think it will happen next year? Is this going to be, I know it's hard to say, but I mean, what if it doesn't? What if Pat Kelsey fails to reach the second weekend next year? Does there start to be a little?
I feel like there's a lot of mirror similarities.
There is. There really is.
I was going to say, I think it'll be similar to the way Kentucky fans look at next season where, Stephen, you said the other day that let's say Kentucky makes a second weekend and loses that game, but has a really good season, right? Like you punch above your weight, but you also handle business and you get a good resume, but you unfortunately that I'd be like, okay, you know what? I'm happy with that. We can move on. We can build off that. If you do similar to what we saw this season, where you just can't beat anybody of serious prowess, but you're still handling business, and you get to a second weekend, I'm not going to bat an eye at a Sweet 16 like you said we haven't been since 2015. I think it gives him more time, but it doesn't mean that I'd be happy about it. It fully depends on. I think the Sweet 16 is the bare minimum for him to improve, like to move up and show progression. But if we see that, but the same exact situation with what happened in the regular season, I don't think the seat gets any colder.
It does feel very similar.
Both programs are in an interesting spot where you could see similar seasons, maybe slightly better for both, or even just potentially just the exact same, and both fan bases clearly wouldn't be happy with just running back with what just happened. But both administrations realize the financial state of college athletics and say, it wasn't bad enough that it was a no-brainer, but it clearly ain't good enough. So I do think things would have to be substantially worse at both Louisville and Kentucky for either program to make a change this time next year. So I think Louisville would have to probably miss the NCAA tournament for them to even really consider firing Pat Kelsey. If he makes the tournament, I just don't think Louisville is in a financial situation to move on from him. Pat Kelsey has shown he's been able to get top talent, both recruiting and from the portal. I'm doing a little sales pitch for him. I agree with you, producer Matt. It is just so wild that both U of L and UK don't have recruits. That just should be places that have recruits. It's wild to me. But Pat Kelsey at least did get Mikel Brown at one point. If he did it once, he could do it again. You never know what he has up his sleeve for 27 and whatnot. So I think Louisville would truly have to miss the tournament. And even then, I wouldn't be 1,000,000% convinced if there was like injury excuses or something like that. Maybe they'd keep him. But if they made the tournament, I think you're getting a year 4 of Pat Kelsey. And then probably the same applies for Mark Pope, where even if they made the tournament, if he had injury excuses at that point, he'd probably get to say, listen, I've been here 3 years, I've got injury excuses, blah, 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 blah. Even if he didn't have injury excuses, I could see the new athletic director saying, hey, this is my first year here. His first 2 years, in my opinion, given all the circumstances, that's not all that great for me. Or it's not really my business, I should say. I'll wash my hands of it. But this first year, not good enough. Now he really needs, now it's really now or nothing for him. So I think both programs, you're probably, I remember on the postgame show after losing some of the worst losses and the back-to-back losses, you'd have people calling in asking if he'd be back, and I'd be like, guys, there's no chance that he's not back after this season. The better question is after the third year. I actually would say here in 2026 that I'll guarantee you that that's not even a topic of conversation this time next year with both coaches. Them being on the hot seat.
You think no matter what, they will be back?
Well, I shouldn't say on the hot seat, but we will not be doing a job search this time next year with either program.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
yeah, probably not. I mean,
I don't think you really want to at this era anyway.
Things would have to go really bad for both, for either of them for it to get to that point. But I think that the seat is warm for Mark Pope.
And I think both programs have better seasons next year. I don't think.
What makes you think that?
Drastically better. I think Louisville. Again, U of L fans listening, and there's plenty that do, and we appreciate you. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, but it's just a UK fan's opinion, so don't get too worked up in your feelings about it. But I think they went big on top end talent this season and said, all right, we're paying a ton to Mikael Brown. Let's go try to pay top dollar for one or two guys in the portal. Go get some or I guess maybe two or three when it was all said and done. Make sure that includes some shooting, and then the rest of the pieces will fall into place. Whether it's returning pieces, whether we're getting some people on a discount, whatever it may be, we'll figure it out. But let's just go spend heavy at the top. And they did that, and then Mikael Brown ended up missing, I think, double-digit games, and you saw what that ended up getting you when it was all said and done. And then even when it was rocking and rolling, Louisville, I think, on any given night could beat just about anybody. But that front court was
horrible,
insanely flawed. I mean, you could look at it, and I did, and U of L fans would always, and that's what you got to do in a rivalry, I suppose. U of L fans are going to back their team. But, you called it out in the preseason that just, that front court is not that, you really need Frew to be really, really good. And I actually think he was okay, but U of L fans think that he was underwhelming from what they were expecting. So obviously not good enough on the front court. So I think that strategy for Pat Kelsey, to answer your question in a very long way, the reason I think it'll be better for both teams is U of L went top heavy on talent. They'll be more balanced, I believe, and that's going to include for the first time in the Pat Kelsey era. Drum roll, please. I hope you're sitting down, producer Matt. You're going to actually have a decent front court player. Woo! Don't know who it's going to be, but I actually think that you'll spend a good chunk of your money in the transfer portal. I shouldn't say a good chunk, but I think when you're talking about your top three pieces that you spend on in the portal, I wouldn't be shocked if number one or number two is a really good big guy. So that's exciting. I think that's exciting for Pat Kelsey. I think it's going to change not the way he plays, but I think it's going to really, really help with the style that he plays, having a competent, solid, scoring, defensive big man. I think they'll get that. And then they'll get a good guard, and they'll have good guards because that's what Pat Kelsey does. I don't really know who all is planning on coming back for U of L. This ain't the radio show for that, but or we can spend on that another time. UK, I think they'll be better just because, knock on wood, roll the dice, do whatever, your superstitious, lucky rabbit's foot, whatever. I just don't think we'll have the injury luck. So I think just naturally, with the money Kentucky's spending, with the talent that they should have, it should be better than a 7 seed. I don't think I'm lowering the bar too much, but so I do think
it should be.
I don't think Kentucky will be starting its SEC tournament journey on Wednesday. I think they will be better than a 7 seed. I ain't saying UK and U of L are getting back to 1 and 2 seeds and book your Final Four reservations or anything like that. I'm simply stating.
No, you'll just say that after the exhibition game.
I'm simply stating. I think it's better. Hey, Mr. Fun Police, it's better to have fun than to poo-poo on everything.
I agree.
But that's still disappointing to me, TJ. We went into.
Oh, I'm just saying it's better. I'm not making any grand proclamations. I'm just saying I do think at both programs the seasons are better.
I don't know if I can we went into this season with high expectations, as we do most seasons. Mark Pope's first year, I don't know that anybody was thinking that Kentucky had to be a 1 seed, go to an Elite Eight, go to a Final Four. We really just wanted to see the second weekend, win a game in Nashville, and for him to prove that his style is going to work. I thought he did that. I think I would have given him an A-.
Yeah, it's funny. The last 2 post-game shows, the only 2 seasons I've done post-game shows. It's just the end of the first one against. I mean, you lost to your rival in the Sweet 16, but it was an optimistic, hey guys,
it's good.
This was better.
The good stuff's coming.
And then the end of the second one was just I swear, if he doesn't get this bleep right, I'm gonna blah blah blah. That's a good point.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. We're going into year 3, and the expectations are going to be what? I mean, that is what is bothering me.
That's a great point. That's really kind of what's concerning and what's scary is that, like, is it a realistic expectation to be like, he's got to get to a Final Four? On the one hand, we desperately need a Final Four. This Final Four drought is so long. The national championship drought is too long. Like, whatever you thought it was at the beginning of the Cal era, and I remember being in college just being like, this is crazy. I've really never seen UK make the final weekend of the tournament in my life. I went on that little diatribe the other day. But, like, you know, I had, but I really hadn't, not as an adult at least. And now it's just like, man, that was a really, really long time ago. I hate to admit it because it was a fun time, but that was a really long time ago. And I don't think it's realistic to think that UK is going to a Final Four next year because we have no idea what the roster is, which brings us to a bit of a John Calipari quote, but we can save that an hour or two.
We'll save that for an hour or two, yeah.
But you seem more pessimistic.
Well, there's nobody. I mean, I don't know. Again,
I think we're going to like the pieces. Well, I will say, do not bring back everybody. Do not bring back too many pieces. But I do want Cam Williams and Colin Chandler back. If they bring Jalen Lowe back, whatever. But I do think at the end of the day, we'll look at the roster and we'll like it. I do. That could be butt slapper. It could be bias. I've been known to overhype, oversell, just dive in head first for the sake of fun. I've been known to do that from time to time.
Yeah, for the sake of fun. That's TJ.
I could do it in this situation too. But I do think we'll end up liking the roster. My fear is we'll like the roster and just say, but it's just not talented enough. It's just not good enough.
Well, that's what we're going to say.
It's good, it's solid, it's fun, but who's the dog? Like, who's the dog? And I think what their big answer this year was, well, maybe we can get lucky on Cam Williams. Otega Elway is at least a college star, and Jaden Quaintance will be our superstar. That will be the guy. And they just struck up so horribly on that. So they need to go get a proven dude who's going to go play in the NBA that will wear a Kentucky jersey. You need a proven college star as well. I have no issue with the college star. They'll get that. That's no problem. Can you go find somebody that has actual NBA potential in the transfer portal?
When you say NBA, do you mean lottery pick potential?
I don't care. First round, fringe, second round. I don't care.
If there will really be any lottery picks
that's what
in the transfer.
We're probably not going to find any
Amari
lottery
and Kobe
picks.
kind of fit
Matt's right.
that.
Matt's exactly right.
You have Malachi, who's projected on some boards already, but it just you're also gonna have a harder time selling me on this working because of how it failed this year. I was the first year I remember going to the exhibition games and just being excited because I want to see what this new offense is gonna look like. We've been watching Calipari, dribble drive motion offense, floppy action stuff for over a decade.
We'll be excited for this team too, though.
We have no idea what it is. Well, yeah, but we'll talk ourselves into being excited for it. I just mean that the expectations are going to be tempered, and I don't like that. I don't like that we're going into a season where, regardless of what the roster is going to look like, I think only, and maybe I will be one of these people by the time because what else you going to do? You're just going to hate it all the way through and until March of next year, but. Maybe I will be able to talk myself into this going well, but I got a feeling that only the most delusional of fans are going to be able to say, yeah, this team can make a Final Four. And that was the one thing with Cal's teams is that every year, because of some of the guys you got, you thought, okay, this may not be the most talented team he's had, but by the end of the season, they might be able to go on a run, and I don't know, man.
That's interesting because last night was probably a familiar feeling for some Arkansas fans that Kentucky fans have had, just along that one point. And having good talent, having great players is fun. I do like that. It was a reminder. It's like, Cal, how many pieces do you need?
Yeah.
You had the best guard in college basketball this year.
Best guard he's ever had.
The best guard in college basketball. Maybe your best point guard. It is interesting. He goes to the Sweet 16 without beating anybody to get there. Where does Acuff fall now in the legacy of Cal guards? Because talent-wise, he is unbelievable, but Brandon Knight at least went to a Final Four. Mm-hmm. Acuff didn't go. So he's in kind of a tricky spot of where you put him. But regardless, if he's in the conversation of one of your best guards, one of your best players that you've ever coached, you got to the Sweet 16 with him, Arizona, you were nowhere close. And for what it's worth, Arizona would have done that to Kentucky, I'm sure. And you did go around further. But Kentucky didn't bring you in to go to the Sweet 16. That's not good enough at Kentucky. Arkansas fans seem to be mostly happy with the season they had. You know, I didn't see too many Arkansas fans crushing him last night or anything like that. I don't care. I'm not in Arkansas circles. But at Kentucky, if you have the best guard and you lose in the Sweet 16, we're not just going to sit here and be like, well, it was a fun season. At least we went to the Sweet 16. Yeah. We'd be like, dude, you had one of the most fun players we've seen, and you just got blown out. We'd be losing our minds. Now, again, are UK fans happy with the year that we've had? Was last Sunday doing the postgame show a blast? No, like people were ticked off, and rightfully so. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call. Where's our special treat? It should be here anytime. Don't go anywhere. Reading your text on the Gameday Men's Health text line.
I think we ain't done yet.
With Walker and Peak.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Nearly late to the start of hour number 2, like I was in the start of hour number 1. The special treat, I think, got delivered to the school by our studio.
Oh, okay.
I was hanging out kind of outside near the front entrance. Got to talk to some friendly faces, but was looking for the pizza. Well,
what is it?
Pizza is maybe part of it, but it was looking for that delivery person and didn't see anybody. And it says it was delivered.
Oh,
and
no.
it certainly wasn't delivered. So
Oh, man.
that's
a bummer.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. So
Dang.
we'll
So
see.
is there a way? Is it like, can you reach out to them and be like, where? They don't have to leave a photo or anything, I guess?
No, I don't think this. I don't think that app.
You just
has-
reach out to them, take a picture of your empty hands, and be like, it did not get delivered.
You just upload a sad face, just like a big bottom lip, and just like no food.
I forgot what it was. I think I ordered something off Amazon before, and it never showed up to my house. Whether maybe I put the address in wrong, whatever the issue was, it didn't show up. So I emailed them or reached out to them. I was like, hey, can I get a return on this? It never showed up, and they asked me to show proof.
Oh, show proof that it didn't show up.
So I did. I sent them a picture of my front doorstep with no package on.
That's hilarious.
And they were like, "No, that's not the proof." I said, "What else could I?
How can
what
I?
else- do you want me in the picture? Like, what do you want?"
Yeah, how can I prove that I don't have something?
I do imagine these people at the school right next to our studio are probably like, "Man, sweet, this is what our lucky day."
I know.
I was just, hey, I was having a bad day. The weather's not that great, but I was really excited about the Kings game, and now the rest of my party bailed on it. I'm still gonna go, of course, because this is Kings country after all. Go ahead and say the line, producer Matt.
Go Kings!
Oh, Matt, no, this is Kings country.
I think the line for them is "Hail yeah."
No,
I'm being serious. That's like their thing.
Hell yes.
hell yeah,
Hell yes. We in the Liberty Bowl.
hell yeah, hell yeah,
Hail yeah.
hell yeah.
Hail yeah.
I do
Hell
think
yeah.
this thing would actually, I mean, I think it's good. It'll be successful anyways, but I think it would be, like, there's only, 2 local guys? So, like, one Kentucky player, one Louisville player, and then a former Louisville quarterback as head coach.
I really think they probably would have sold anywhere from 500 to 2,300 more tickets if they just said Lynn Bowden's playing quarterback.
Oh, my gosh.
Come
yes.
watch it. Come check it out.
Yeah.
And if he stinks, we are going to bench him. But, like,
You're
for the
gonna
fans
see
that
it.
are going to be in the
See it, yeah.
stands, you want a little Lenny ball, relive your good old days 7 years
So
ago.
much fun. Honestly, that Virginia Tech bowl game, I know it was the Belk Bowl, and that we won 2 Citrus Bowls during around that time. That's the most fun bowl game I've ever seen. That was so much fun. There were just so many big plays, and I love that Lynn Bowden's last play.
That
in the
whole
Kentucky-
year was electric.
Yeah, they should have beat Tennessee that year.
That
They're
one
still.
stunk.
I think if they put Lynn Bowden at quarterback to start the season, they may have beaten Florida, but they probably beat South Carolina and Mississippi State. Then we don't have the Belk Bowl game, unfortunately.
Who was the quarterback he replaced again? Oh, why am I forgetting?
Terry Wilson.
Terry Wilson.
But they had a backup. Who was it?
Touchdown Terry Wilson.
That's right. That's what we all called him.
Terry Touchdown Wilson to some.
Who was the quarterback that came in? Was it Sawyer Smith?
Sawyer Smith.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he got hurt also. And then we went to Lynn Bowden.
Yep.
And the season turned around. We were talking about, what was his name? John Vincent Calipari. He used to coach at Kentucky. He now coaches at Arkansas. And he took an L last night in the Sweet 16. I told you, TJ, I don't know. When did I tell you this? Was it at break? I can't even remember. But I think I said something along the lines of, I enjoyed that probably more than I should have. It doesn't do me anything. It doesn't make Kentucky better because John Calipari lost. But I just, I have to be on social media with my job. And so just getting on there after that SEC tournament, when I wanted to kind of be happy for him, I just knew if they won last night, it was just it wasn't gonna be an enjoyable experience. And as you said, if this was the result at Kentucky with wasting Darius Acuff, Now, you did win an SEC tournament title. I'd take that. I'd love to have that.
Yeah, I like this Chris Fisher tweet that he just tweeted, almost like he's listening to the show. Although, of course, I say that and I can't get it pulled up. But just mentioning, well, maybe it's where you're potentially
promising
going.
of treats, promising of tweets.
It's been a rough one for me. I may, you know what? Actually, I think that would be a perfect thing for a producer to do. I need you to go walk around the parking lot and see if you see any loose treats out there.
Well, he has some audio to play for us here in a second.
All right. Also, it was 3 hours ago, but he said a hater, not me, would point out Arkansas beat 11 Oklahoma, 15 Ole Miss, 4 Vandy to win the SEC tourney, and 13 Hawaii, 12 High Point to reach the Sweet 16. A hater, certainly not me, would say the only thing that's changed for Cal is the expectations. It's totally true.
Yeah, I mean, really, that Arkansas team was too talented to only get a 4 seed. You should not have lost to Auburn by 22. You should not have lost to Kentucky at home, right? They were more talented than Kentucky. They shouldn't have lost that game. They were at home.
Glad that they did.
An electric atmosphere. No business losing that game. And even the loss to Michigan State early on, like I know they only lost by 3, but that is what the Calipari experience had become. He eliminates himself in the NCAA tournament during the regular season because they don't live up to their potential. They drop games they shouldn't, and then instead of being a 2 seed or a 1, had he I did the Bar Torvik thing and switched those losses to wins, including the 2-point loss to Alabama. But that was just a hell of a game, and I think it was in Tuscaloosa. They lost 117 to 115, something like that. Darius Acuff played every minute of the game. I'm not going to hold that one against them, but there were several games on this schedule that they could have won, had won, and didn't pull it off, or just laid a clunker. And you're too talented to do that. That Arkansas team, I mean, how much better was Arkansas on paper than Auburn this year with the new coach? How are you going to let Stephen Pearl beat you by 22 when you have Darius Acuff and you got Malik Thomas? And even the pieces around them were really good.
Yeah.
And he got a 4 seed. So he gets eliminated in the round of 16 instead of, even if you're in the same bracket as Arizona and you're a 2 seed, you probably get to the Elite 8 at least. And that was where the frustration was with Kentucky fans, is that you're taking like these talented teams and you're losing in the regular season and then saying, well, we're built for March. Well, if you don't lose to UNC Wilmington in 24, you're a 2 seed and you're not even playing Jack Goldie.
Oh boy.
Sorry, that loss, that UNC Wilmington loss is why Calipari's not here. That is why he's no longer in the state of Kentucky.
Or the Oakland loss.
But you don't play Oakland if you don't lose at home.
Or the St. Peter's loss.
And you don't lose if you don't lose games early on, losing at Notre Dame that year, losing to LSU.
Or the A&M SEC tournament loss. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A lot had to go wrong, I get your domino effect there.
People are looking at the NCAA tournament, and I just think that the tournament is random. You have to put yourself in the best position to not play the good teams, to not play these great teams early on. And even the best 14 seed, you like to avoid them, You'd like to avoid having to play a 2 seed or a 1 seed in the Sweet 16. So that, to me, was just another year of Calipari wasting great talent. But Calipari did have some words do you want to set the scene for that? Because you had Mark Pope, of course, on his radio show on Monday, taking shots at Calipari to defend himself. Would you say that's fair?
I wouldn't say that. I would not say that.
You would not say that?
I would not say that.
Why not?
Fair. Because I didn't think he was taking shots at Calipari.
Well, inadvertently. He's defending himself by comparing what he's done for the last 4 years. And it just so happened Calipari was the coach for the last 4 years. Calipari was definitely going to take that personal.
I would say at most adverse, you can say he was taking shots at the final 4 years of the Calipari era.
Well, that's what I mean.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so he's taking shots, and who was the coach? Calipari, so.
Okay.
he was taking shots at Cal. I don't think
taking shots at Cal's final 4 years.
I don't think
it was a personal shot at Calipari or
right,
the way
yeah,
he was running programs
and
things like that.
I don't think that he even maybe thought of it as I'm going to take a shot at Calipari here.
No, I think I disagree. I think he knew.
Okay, so he was taking a shot at Cal.
No, chill. I think he knew. Listen, that's not really Pope's MO to do anything that's somewhat controversial.
I agree with
think
that.
he knew that, like, hey, I've got to defend myself, and in doing so, it's going to be perceived a million different ways. But what was that, producer Matt?
Did you hear something?
Did you hear anything?
I did.
Okay, sounded like a record, like.
Oh, I didn't hear anything. I accidentally hit a button. I know that. I didn't know it actually. made a noise.
Well, I think the button made a little diss track noise
Sorry,
or something.
I was just messing with the pen and I just flicked
I think
it by
he
accident.
knew what he was doing, how it'd be perceived, but just needed to say, listen, the numbers aren't totally bad.
Mm-hmm.
Really, if Pope could speak totally candidly, I think what he'd want to say is, you all hasn't been good enough, but to defend myself, this is a more difficult schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We've had injury luck, and it's about the same as it has been, if he could speak candidly. But I think he wanted to defend himself knowing that it would be, hey, I've got to compare myself to the last guy. He likes Cal. I think personally they're cool with one another. I don't think that's going to change.
You think so?
Yes. I don't think they talk or like have any sort of lines of communication. But
I kind of thought the way Calipari said earlier this year, like, he's the right guy for the job. Come on. And like the way he would say
was
stuff.
in the middle of a bad UK streak. You know, could die, like
Yeah.
that's
feel
probably why you took it that way.
You don't think that Calipari, the way that he ran out of town, you don't think that he kind of was like, yeah, I love that Mark Pope's losing games right now.
Not personal to Mark Pope though. Like,
okay,
again,
but that's the guy who's coaching the team.
There are people that just want to make everything so personal with so many different things. I don't think Pope's comments were personal to Calipari.
I don't think that they were, but I think that
and I don't think Calipari, anything he says is personal to Pope. Why would they dislike one another personally?
Whether it's personal or not, it could definitely come off that way. And the reason is because the way Kentucky fans embrace Mark Pope, and I'm sure if you're Calipari, he's thinking, okay, really, this guy, the BYU coach who hasn't won a tournament game yet, you guys love him, but I'm not good enough for you.
Can they just kiss and make up?
It's not even at that level either. It's just what people, I think, want it to be, producer Matt. Like the person at WHAS, do you want him to do poorly because he or she now has your job?
No, it's way different.
It's not.
I don't even know who that guy is.
It's not apples to apples.
Oh, you don't know who he is?
Yeah. Doesn't know who he is.
I don't even
Oh, wow. We're going WHS 11 now.
I used to do the recruiting role at KSR.
Now you hate Jacob.
I want Jack and Jacob to do very, very well. But
it's a little different.
But not told. If you're a bad person, maybe you wish poorly on like your.
And I'm not
successor.
saying either of them are bad people, but it's a zero sum business. It's wins and losses. You can't be like he's doing great, but he's losing games. He's not doing great, but he is winning games.
I think these are two good humans that are going to also defend themselves because this profession demands that.
I don't.
So that's what's happening.
All the stuff people say about Calipari being a bad guy, I argue with vociferously that he is a good person.
So he is. So again,
but he's very competitive, and so is Mark Pope.
Yes.
And so while it's not personal, maybe off the court, and but when they are making their cases, I don't think that Calipari sits at home and wants Kentucky to win games. I think, in fact, he would prefer it if they didn't, because then it makes him look better. And it may not be personal to Mark Pope. It would be whoever the Kentucky coach was that replaced him.
Do we have the Calipari audio?
Yeah.
Let it rip.
We're all in the same boat right now. There are a lot of people who have no idea. How about this? You have no recruits. You have no idea who's coming back. You don't have the money you had a year ago. You do not. And now all of a sudden you're trying to keep guys, figure out who else out there wants to come and who wants to put like a bidding war, which we wouldn't be involved in. So.
Okay, so I was listening to his press conference last night because I was interested to see because a lot of people were saying if he wins, he'll have something to say about the Mark Pope stuff. It'll be subtle. That was subtle. And yes, you can attach that description to a lot of programs. But that was almost on the nose with what Kentucky is going through. I mean, no recruits. You won't have the money that you have. You already said you don't have the money that you had last year. You don't. There's one school that has been talked about and how much money they spent. And what was the last part about we're not getting in a bidding war?
Was this like an opening statement, or was there a question asked? Because I've only ever heard this short of this clip.
There was a question asked about roster building and on the off season, transfer portal stuff, and the question when Calipari is asked a question, it's very rare that you just get the answer to that question. Also, I think he was asked a question about Darius Acuff, and the question ended, or his answer ended, with talking about like how proud he is of not Darius Acuff's other players. So I think the question was, I think he was actually answering the question there, and then he goes into the there's a lot of people. Or let me tell you this: there's somebody who has what do you say? They have no recruits and no idea who's coming back, and you don't have the money you had a year ago. TJ, did you think that was a little like subtle?
No, Calipari would say hit dog hollers, hit dog yelps, or whatnot. And that's probably what this situation is.
So you just
Kentucky,
pulled that situation up, or
no? Well, I think I don't think he was specifically talking about UK.
Okay.
20 minutes after his team was just eliminated and his season came to a close. That's a situation tons of teams find themselves in without recruits,
but not his.
Maybe not zero.
He has three top 25 guys.
Yeah, but even I think a couple of those were late signees.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like he doesn't fit Arkansas. So why is he talking about anybody else's program 20 minutes after his season ended?
Talking about, I think he's talking about. Let's play the whole quote. Can we get the entire?
We can get the full thing.
Let's get the entire quote in its entirety. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the transfer portal era, the nil era.
He is, and that's why
doesn't Rick Pitino and St. John's not take any recruits? Could he be talking about them as well?
I mean, he could be talking about Louisville and Pat Kelsey. They don't have.
You're right. Probably he's talking about Louisville and Pat Kelsey.
Like again, a hit dog hollers. So and again, there's not a ton of programs that have zero recruits, but every team has to build themselves through the portal in some capacity. Hey, we weren't as tough on the boards. Well, we got to go find a dude rebounding. Our 3-point shooting was not as good. All right, let's go find some shooters in the portal. I think he's talking about a bigger picture. That being said, even if he is talking about Kentucky, he doesn't need to lecture anybody on roster construction or roster stability. That's true, but this is something that every team is facing. But Cal's, and I think Cal knows this. And maybe it's turning him a little bit, maybe it's turning him a little grumpier. It's never going to be like it was for him. At best, you're never going to get back to that initial high. He's never going to get back to his glory days at UK. Excuse me. And I do think at Arkansas, briefly, he thought maybe I can. Maybe I can get a little run going here. And I think it's setting in for him now. That okay, I just want one more Final Four. Please, just one more Final Four. Just a Final Four. I get it. It's not going to be like it was, but please, just one more Final Four. And sadly, the realization that I'm coming to is that it's never really going to be like it was for us either in the Cal era. Now, the end, that's different. But I mean, when we think of the glory years of Cal at UK, that's probably never going to happen at UK again either. Because we're also at the point, and we had this debate in the first hour. Go back, listen to the podcast. We're on the Big X Sports Radio podcasting platform because we're locked out of ours, but we're on YouTube every day. Hello, YouTube. But it's probably not going to be like that for UK. We were talking about, hey, just get back to a Final Four. You imagine going to 4 Final Fours in 5 years?
Yeah.
No,
that's
what?
Insane.
Are you kidding me? That's just going to be unbelievable. And if somebody wants to say, well, Pitino was able to do it back in the 90s, dude, that was 30 years ago now. That was 30 years ago. So it's not overly realistic to think that UK can get back to doing runs like that in an entirely new era of college athletics. I'd love for it to happen. But do we even have the coach to do it? And if not, is there a coach out there that realistically can do that again?
I don't think it'll ever be possible again.
I mean, something like that.
There's just too much disparity in college basketball now.
You saw UConn recently just win back-to-back titles. You've seen Florida. I mean, Florida was the second favorite to win a back-to-back title this year. So I don't think it's impossible for a team to have like a really good cycle and get lightning in a bottle with people being loyal and staying. But over a course of 5 years, you're probably right. I mean, Duke maybe, Kansas, Kentucky. It's not impossible, but that you got to get lucky too in the tournament. Like you have to have shots go your way, the ball bounce your way, not get injured.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to be really, really good and have a ton of money and be able to get the players in, but it makes sense that if you can do that 1 year, you can do that 2 years, and if you can do it 2 years, then you can snowball off that. But to get lucky that stretch in the tournament. That is incredible. You're probably right. We probably won't see it again.
I mean, how many from the 2011 and 2014 runs? You had a buzzer beater from Brandon Knight. You had
DeAndre Liggins 3 against UNC. You have to have that.
10-point comeback.
You have to survive Princeton to even get
That's
to that.
That was the buzzer beater. But yes, the Ohio State one too.
Yeah.
And you had a 10-point comeback against West Virginia. That game went down to the wire. North Carolina, you mentioned that. In 2014, obviously the 3 games with Harrison, but you barely beat Kansas State. Like it wasn't a blowout.
No, you're right.
And then of course you had Van Fleet miss a 3.
Notre Dame.
Well. Yeah. And Cincinnati that year was a close game. So you have to win a lot of. They had to win a lot of close games to be able to pull off a couple of those Final Four runs. So yeah, I mean, just luck was also on our side. You had a good team. They were well coached, and then you had a little bit of luck. That's how the tournament works.
The idea of winning the breakup is just kind of annoying. That's why. But I guess there's just people out there that are unfortunately going to look at things that way. That's why I could never understand when he was coming back to Rupp Arena. Like, wait, the debate is boo or not boo? Like, what? Let's just cheer him and move on with our lives. Let's not worry about him. And I really shouldn't worry about him. He's at Arkansas. We'll get to see him once, twice, sometimes maybe even 3 times a year.
It'd be nice. It'd be fun.
Hope to beat him every single time that we get to do it. But besides that, wish him the best. I don't think he's specifically calling out UK left and right. Not impossible, though. I could be wrong. He could be.
You want to ask? We could try to get him on the show.
Let's get it. That's what. You know what? He was on roll call one time.
Yeah.
The one time we didn't go through UK, and we were able to get him on.
Now you don't have to go through UK.
One time we didn't go through UK. It was hilarious because I brought that up another time to be like, hey, can we get him on? Blah, 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 blah. They were like, you didn't go through us, but we knew of it. So we had kind of secretly approved of it. And I was like, okay, thank you.
The thing about Calipari is you go from 2006 to
controlling Kentucky
to 2019. Those 14 years, Calipari had his team in the Elite Eight 10 times. 10 times in 14 years.
It's incredible.
Only 4 years.
Fun run.
Was Calipari absent of the Elite Eight. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. That is truly an elite run by one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. That's what makes these last 6 tournaments a little bit interesting, that he hasn't been able to get back there. And really even fortunate to make the second weekend all the 2 years that he's done it.
I'd go back too as well. I know Louisville fans feel the same.
As Kentucky fans, I want to ask you, do you think that – so – I mean, Cal was able to do that a lot with, he was the recruiting guru, right? Like, he brought in all the best talent every single year. Maybe you had some misses every once in a while where things didn't gel, but most of the time, like you said, you're getting the job done. You're getting where you want to go. Do you think that it's better the way it is now because there is so much, I'd say, more equality across the landscape of college basketball in terms of recruiting? It's not about the school you go to anymore. It's really about the money. Like, do you think that makes college basketball better because there's more disparity, or do you think that it's more of an issue because it's not about the schools anymore?
I think that it does make the sport better. I think if you're a Kentucky fan, you probably don't like it so much because you want to dominate. But I do think it does make, like, for instance, okay, like there were times in 2012 Kentucky was playing an SEC game, and if you didn't win by 30, it was like, oh, we didn't really play that well. And that wasn't the most enjoyable Saturday night. It was way more fun to be like, we got Florida on the road tonight. This is going to be a huge game. And so, like, when you're playing every game in the SEC is a marquee game and it's a huge game, it's more fun. You lose more, and that's not as fun. So it is the trade-off there. And Kentucky's, look, Florida went 16-2 this year in the SEC.
Yeah.
That'll be Kentucky again. Louisville's going to win the ACC at some point. Louisville's going to be in a Final Four again. All three of these. Well, I don't know about Indiana. I was going to say all three of them will be great again at some point. But Kentucky, Louisville, they will be great again. It's just it stinks that it's been so long for both schools, but it will happen again, Matt.
The Lord's Kitchen food truck is in our station's parking lot, but did they take our sweet treats? Who's to say? The Lord's Kitchen, they are doing, well, the Lord's work. We've got, they're out there, they are serving the community, helping provide meals to those in need. It's a great cause, great people, great chance to support something and make a real impact locally. Come on by, say hello, 3728 Taylorsville Road. I'm going to go walk around the parking lot and see if the school stole our sweet treats, what is going on. It's actually not sweet treats, but I've just been calling it that. So we're going to go figure that out, and then reading your text, give out a couple picks, talk Sweet 16, besides John Calipari. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio.
And you ain't welcome around here like Christian.
All right, we finally got it. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you can see it. We've got a pizza. It got delivered to the school, and thanks to Debbie out front, able to help get it all figured out. And she knew that things get delivered over there, knew exactly where to go. We went in through the back, went up to the front of the school. I'd never been to any of these parts before, and this is actually kind of funny. I saw the pizza just sitting right there, and they were like, yeah, we were wondering. Everybody's going nuts. But that's a school, and I think they competed they won like the 6th region within like the last 5 or 6 years. It's a really small school, but I think they had some really good basketball talent recently. So it's kind of funny. But a bunch of the students were just like out and about, running around, doing whatever. And we went over, and they were like, yeah, we were wondering who got this pizza. And so we get it, and we're starting to walk back. And I just by accident nearly run into somebody, a student. I was turning around with the pizza. They were going where they were going. Nearly run into them. I say, excuse me, sorry. They don't say anything, and that obviously wouldn't happen like somewhere like St. X per se. But no big deal. Like I got in their way probably more than anything. Not a huge deal. So I go on my merry way. Turns out they were in the middle of a promposal. Oh. So that gentleman was going to another student to propose.
Propose, yeah.
And another friend came out with like flowers and a sign and was like, and he said, will you go to prom with me? And then this girl was like, yes. Oh. And they hugged and everybody started clapping. And it was funny because Debbie was just in the middle of all of it. Like, I mean, literally like in the middle of all of it. If there was there were several
Definitely
cell phone
video of that.
footages. I'm probably in the very far off background, but she, in the cell phone footage, she would be very much in the thick of it. Also something that wouldn't happen at St.
So for the people
so
the people who didn't
often.
Another thing.
So the people who didn't know you were there for, you just look like a guy who was stealing pizza from a promposal.
Great point. There had to be some people there being like, all right, if that pizza's still there when we do the promposal, we're just digging in. Which, by the way, producer Matt, come on over, buddy.
Oh, all right, I appreciate it. I'll be over there in a second.
But you need to have the right positive attitude to have this pizza.
Well, I can't wait to see the video of this promposal.
You probably won't. I can't imagine unless you're friends with some high schoolers on social media.
Not as many as you would think.
Ultimately, why I got out of the recruiting game.
TJ taking pizza away from little kids now. Yeah, did I ever tell you why
They were taking the pizza away from TJ.
When I was working for Scout inside Tennessee, covering Tennessee volunteer recruiting, and my boss was explaining to me like how they wanted me to try to get these 17-year-old boys to talk to me through text message to try to figure out what they were going to do. It's very weird. They were like, don't tell them who you work for. Just say, hey, what's up? Because they'll think it's a girl and they might respond. What? How is this our strategy?
Yeah,
I hated
not
that.
A good strategy. I don't like that.
I hated it. How did you do it? What was your strategy? Send a few memes?
Catfish them. Like a
there you go.
Like a normal journalist.
Yeah, exactly. Very weird job to have. I don't envy the having to do that.
I would just say, hey, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I work for. And then just be ready for the silence that would follow. Almost certainly. Let's read some text into the Gameday Mens Health text line. Today's episode sounds like it needs to be a Dateline NBC hosted by Chris Hansen.
Love it.
Cowles ran out of town. Didn't he have a secret talk with Arkansas?
Yeah, I think if you asked Calipari, what would he say? What do you think, TJ? Were you run out of town, or did you just go get a new job? And
you'd probably say the heat was turned up.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't fired. It was his own decision.
That'd be a good question. Because he's also pretty prideful.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So he wouldn't want to. I don't know, but let's all just make an agreement. Let's not get too worked up about the words of it all. He was not fired, but there was heat there. He was welcome back for one more season. That would have been it if it was not, and probably like if it just wasn't a good season. So forced out, ran out, not forced out, whatever. But we all know where it was going. Okay. Maybe Amazon delivered doormats Oh, was that from today? Did somebody doormat's girlfriend's house instead? Is that a story? Is that an inside joke?
We were talking about the stuff being delivered, and he took a photo of an empty porch.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, so yesterday, he's kind of mixing the jokes here, but yesterday when we did 3-man front, I had I told I don't know if I told you guys, but I had a guy named James Larson who's an insider for the UFL on the show yesterday. And he came into studio because he's in town for the game.
He flew in.
He did. And he came into town for the game, and he came on the show. But I was in the middle of, I was covering for Roman. So after this show, I had to produce for Mike Rutherford. And he was asking me a question or something while James and I were texting back and forth about, he didn't know if he was going to be able to come in or if he was going to have to do it over phone just because he was busy. Well, Mike was asking me a question while I was texting him. And he was like, I can make it in. Send me the address. Well, I just blanked for a second because I'm in the middle of talking. I didn't remember what the exact address was, so I went into my Google Maps where I only have 2 addresses saved. I have this studio, and I have Paulina's house. So I sent him Paulina's home address, and he sent me a picture back like 10 minutes later and said, I don't think this is a studio, and it was a picture of her house.
That's awesome.
He still ended up making it in. We got him in. We laughed about it. He's a cool dude. We're friends now. But, yeah, really embarrassing. Had that happen over air, so that it was fun. But yeah, so a guy who works in the UFL knows exactly where my girlfriend lives now. Unfortunately,
that's crazy. I like that he flew in to go visit your girlfriend's house.
He did. That's exactly what he was here for.
Weird looking studio.
Hey, but if they were the one in Southern Indiana, he might have thought the same thing.
I told him, I was like,
well, they would have thought something else.
What would they have thought?
I can't say it. Not allowed to say it.
I told him, I said, you're just lucky it was a nice neighborhood.
Of all the coaches out there, Indiana ended up with DeVries.
Man,
says one texter.
That's
Well, we're happy that they did.
Yeah.
And honestly, you thought that was
Still took
you thought it was an all right. Oh, you thought it was an all right hire because they were getting their son. Although he turned out to not really. Yeah. I guess that was probably the bigger issue. I think he could be okay, but he could be the Hubert Davis of the Big Ten. Solid, but not anything threatening, and that's what we like. We don't want too threatening around these parts. I think part of it is that Cal can't coach defense anymore. His defensive fall-off also coincides with teams leaning into three-point shooting. His bigs have been so bad the last few years. That's a good point. And also, it probably correlates as well, similar to what you're saying with college game going to more three-point shooting. And Cal's always been good with a shot-blocking big. You're still good with a shot-blocking big in any college basketball, but it's not as necessary.
Well, did you see the height of the last few Sweet 16s? So this is great for radio to talk about a chart, but you can see here that the last several years, teams have gotten taller. The average height for the Sweet 16 teams has grown, and most people most teams are closer to that 6'6" average.
The game just seems a little bit more spread out, spaced out. Bigs can be taken out, and it was weird. Like Big Z would have been really good on Arkansas, but he goes to Illinois. He's a really great piece there. But he would have been exactly what Arkansas was missing a good chunk of this season.
So the game's gotten longer. Has it gotten girthier?
And for the next text, any worries about Billy Donovan taking the UNC job?
No. And even if he did, I wouldn't care. I would be more worried about, like, T.J. Otzelberger going to UNC or
why?
Who are some of these other big
Donovan
names?
just been out of the college game too long?
Or why can't I think of the Iowa's coach's name?
McCollum?
Ben McCollum.
Ben McCollum. Jeez Louise.
A lot of names out there, TJ. You can't be
Billy Donovan, whether he went to UK, UNC, or if he went to Bellarmine, like there's no guarantee. He was a really good coach. Florida was consistently solid, but caught lightning in a bottle with Joakim Noah and Al Horford in that class for 2 years. Great. They were awesome. Outside of that, his best teams, you could make a case, underachieved a little bit. And then actually, I don't really think any ifs, ands, or buts about it.
2014, you mean?
2014,
they made the Final
went
Four.
to a Final Four as the number 1 overall seed.
Pretty good.
That was really, really good. Besides that, other years, they would be ranked in the top 10 or top 15. I don't think they had another Final Four. Maybe
he won back-to-back national titles. I think he's definitely a great coach. I just wonder, like, in this new era, for instance, not exactly apples to apples, but Steve Prohm was away from college coaching for a little bit. Murray State brought him back. He had great success at Murray State. They bring him back, and he fails miserably because it's just a totally different way of doing things. Now, I mean, with the NIL and how you're having to put together a roster and the turnover and everything, I don't know that Billy Donovan is a home run hire the way he would have been in 2015.
Totally agree. I think that could be no guarantee he'll do a great job with nil. NBA experience could help him in that regard, or he could just be somebody that a lot of people back then said they would just get sick of the high-level recruiting, having to deal with agents. Well, now you just have to do that to even build any roster whatsoever. But if you have NBA experience or you got the right GM, Keegan Brown, hopefully for Kentucky, that knows how to break down the dollar and cents, how to distribute the money, basically, the salary cap, if you will. That makes it easier for a coach where you could just theoretically coach basketball. But who knows? Billy Donovan, if he went there, he could be good. I would think that UNC would be better than they had been, but I also don't think it would be prime Roy Williams or anything like that. But a texter says, I think part of it is that, the way they talked about Cal the last couple weeks, you'd think that he had gone back-to-back. Yeah, it was way too much hype. But you got to also remember, Acuff was putting up insane numbers. So you're going to talk about the coach when the player's doing really well. Reminder that it wasn't just our fans who believed in this team. Most of the national folks had them preseason top 10. That's totally right. For me personally, the bar next season is 7 pre-tourney losses in an Elite 8. For me, I don't care about seeds and stuff like that. I know Peak and I disagree about it. But the point is true that Peak is always making, and I can get behind the sentiment, that if you have a really good seed, you're obviously having a good regular season. His point is really good seed means you're going to do well in March.
Best chance.
Yes. So I can get behind that as well. So, yes, be a really high seed. But I want to compete for an SEC regular championship. I want to make an SEC tournament championship. And I don't care if that's asking too much. Yes, just get to Saturday, bypass Saturday, and play on Sunday again, for Pete's sake. This is absolutely ridiculous. Then, I would say Elite 8 at minimum. If you're not playing for a spot in the Final Four, I'll be disappointed.
So what does that mean if he doesn't get to doesn't check any of those boxes next year? Doesn't win, because that is my you had a great season. Those 3 checklists. Did you make the Elite 8, or did you win the SEC regular season, or did you win the SEC title? I'll consider any of those. You do any of those, I'll say good, good, really good job. Maybe great job if you do more than one. What if he doesn't?
If he doesn't do any, then I'll be right back where I am, not believing that he's the guy for the job to ever really get it done, thinking we're really mostly wasting our time, that he's a good guy, but we're just wasting our time, and we'll probably be running it back and wasting another year of our lives.
So you think you would say right now that Mark Pope will be the coach in 2028?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, I do think this is a sort of make or break season. If he doesn't make the tournament,
he shouldn't have been the coach in 2024, but he will be the coach in 2028.
If he doesn't make the tournament this year, does he come back?
Probably not.
Okay.
Unless
is that the barrier then? Make the tournament, you get a 4th year if you don't make the tournament.
If he had a big excuse, if there was like another injury, which there probably would be or something, but
yeah, I just think that even if
there are tournament,
unless like 5 guys get injured.
See the bubble this past year? Like those teams that couldn't make the tournament? Are you kidding me? Like Auburn was one of the the first team out.
They won 6 SEC games or 7. They won 7. Go 7-11. So
what are we doing here? If you can't make the tournament, then you have got to fire him.
Right.
They're gonna make the tournament. It's gonna get all better.
Going to the Elite 8.
Not trying to be mean, but are all U of L fans this bad at trash talking? Says one texter.
Matt.
Whoa! Second marriage reveal. I get the impression that Stokes really has no interest in coming here, but we're Nike and we're willing to pay. I get that as well. And that worries me, honestly, because he seems like an emotional, kind of fragile kid from that perspective. And that's okay. A lot of 17, 18-year-old kids are. I probably was. But, like, I wouldn't want him to come here and have Darren Peterson vibes, Mikael Brown vibes, and him just be like, well, I never really wanted to come here anyways, but at least I got that bag. I would hate that. Wouldn't that be unfortunate? Now, that being said, what do? Don't say no to the number one player in the class. You probably roll the dice with it.
I worry that they're. Here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that they're going to get desperate to have a big recruiting win. He's going to be the guy, and they would be willing to pay too much money for him. When we were in St. Louis, Jack Pilgrim and I got a chance to talk with some guys who a GM of an ACC school and a guy who does recruiting for that ACC school. We asked them, what would you pay for Tyron Stokes? And they said no, they would not pay for him at all.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they said, we $0. Like, we do not need to be dealing with that in trying to accomplish our goals next season. And we were both kind of surprised by that, honestly. So, that is the reputation that he has out on the recruiting trail. He's very talented, obviously. Am I gonna be upset if Kentucky gets him? I mean, no, of course not. But I will be a little all right, you all have to make sure this works out. Because I think, would you not have those same fears that it would be a Mikael Brown or a Darren Peterson kind of deal where, okay, he can play through this injury, but he is hurt, so maybe he won't play through the injury.
My big fear, and I think that Pat Kelsey would be succumb to this too, is that I don't know if either of those coaches, let's say worst comes to worst, and it's just like an ego thing for him. Like, he just wants to go to the NBA. He needs his playing minutes. I don't think either of those coaches are equipped enough to handle a player like that, where, in our history, Rick and Cal would be able to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I mean, I don't know. I want Kentucky to get the best players, obviously. Tyron Stokes obviously raises your ceiling, so you want him. If you promise me that
I want Stokes, but I would almost guarantee you there'd be shenanigans if he came to Kentucky. Yeah. But I'm saying, bring on all we know is shenanigans. Yeah. I'd rather have top level shenanigans than the cheeky shenanigans.
Hey, we had a
talking about that place with all the goofy bleep on the wall.
We had a.
You guys talking about shenanigans?
We had a season's worth of drama this year in 1 month, back in November, about locker rooms and whatever else was going on. I'd rather do that with a guy like Tyron Stokes. So
burn bright, get the top talent.
Yeah.
As a Bull fans, I hope he leaves. He's been extremely mediocre coaching NBA players. I don't have faith that he'd be any better in this new era of college basketball, says one texter. Yeah, it could work out. I just don't. It's UNC. You expect UNC to be good. Whoever they hire should make them good. Billy Donovan would make them good. I just don't think it'd be like, oh, my goodness.
They got Billy D.
It's Nate Oates at UNC. Like, Nate Oates at UNC would be.
I'll be worried about that.
Well, and even then.
Well, I'd like him out of the SEC.
Even then, you expect UNC to be top 3, top 5.
Would you want him out of the SEC, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been,
makes the SEC a lot better.
We're 0-4 against him.
He makes the SEC a lot better.
Yeah.
That is true, and you are right about that. That was kind of a take I had yesterday. But I'm all right with the SEC maybe coming down a little bit. I want it to be really good.
We got Will Wade, Cal in there now.
And maybe the SEC is the second best conference or third best conference. This year was solid,
Yeah.
Of course, Kentucky
still had the most teams, I think,
finished
in the
ninth
conference.
in the conference.
So. The 9th best team got into the tournament as a 7th seed. The 9th, last year, they were a 6 seed in the SEC tournament, but a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament.
It's not good, folks. The writing's on the wall. Yeah, I did a Twitter article. Did you see that?
No.
I did see that.
Did you do that during the break?
Yeah, it made you come up with a title. I was like, I don't want to make a title. I just want it to be no, I did it earlier today. But
progress versus patience.
Yeah, again, I don't want to.
You want me to read it right now? Oh, you got some graphics on there? Whoa.
No. I just had to make a post. I had to get it out there publicly that that was such a kind of crappy, disingenuous thing that Pope did. I don't know. It bothered me more than everybody's going to skew numbers to defend themselves and make themselves look a little bit better. But that was kind of crappy. You picked 4 years for a reason. We know why.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it wasn't that because I can
is it still progress if it's only 3 years, Pope? Is the program still in progress? Because if you only do 3 years, your winning percentage is really nowhere close. Well, I mean, it's obviously close, but it's 0.7 versus a 0.63.
The only thing I didn't like about it was that we didn't like those 4 years. So saying that we're marginally better.
And that's another funny thing
not,
is it's a .639 versus a .635. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like, there's other things that I think that the SEC is tougher. There's you are competing against more, whatever AP top 25 teams, whatever that means to you. You're competing against more of them in the SEC. Those are all fair arguments. You are dealing with injuries. Those are fair arguments. But, yeah, comparing win totals.
But just to even bring up Nashville. Like, what are you doing to even bring that up?
Yeah.
Somebody at UK needed to stop him and be like, no, don't just all right, just say that, like, hey, in a 2-year span, it's been similar to the previous 4 years. If you wanted to the earlier radio back and forth, we've had good radio debates between Matt and I, and then you with Calipari a little bit earlier on. We've had good radio back and forth. But to your point that maybe it was a shot, is he could have just said, listen, these 2 years, they have been slightly better than the previous 4 years, but we understand it ain't good enough, and we need to make it better. Injuries are a factor. That's something that we're going to just have to work through, whether they happen again, but hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Schedule. It is tougher than it used to be. We welcome that, and we even still need it to be better. He's leaning into a defeatist mentality, and I'm not all about it. I don't like it one bit. It's just to bring up Nashville. You haven't even been to Saturday, dude. You're not even allowed technically. I think legally he's not even allowed to mention the words SEC tournament until you coach in an SEC tournament semifinal game. So stop bringing that up as any sort of accomplishment or anything short of just an embarrassment because you played on Wednesday for what it's worth.
Right.
And then the NCAA tournament. You could have coached in 12 NCAA tournament games. You've won 3. You could have, I shouldn't say coach, but you coach, but you could have coached 12 NCAA tournament games. You've won 3 of them. That's not good enough. And to bring, again, and you did acknowledge that it's not good enough. So don't mention 3 as a positive. You can't do that. You can't. That is lowering the bar. Just to even talk about SEC tournament, to talk about the NCAA tournament, when it's been so lackluster, and for what it's worth, it's going on tonight. Your rivals are still playing tonight. Your Rick Pitino's coaching tonight.
Tennessee's
playing tonight. Team that you swept. And so, like, you should be doing that. I'm sorry, Pete. It gets me fired up.
No, you're fine. I was going to say 37 points combined in the 2 losses in the SEC tournament. That's not great.
Bring up the SEC tournament at all. What are you doing? And then to lie about the numbers. And then to challenge us to go do the math. Look it up. You can do the math. Dude, I did the math, and you know what I found? You're kind of sneaky. That's a little sneaky. All right, it's sneaky, this Big X Sports Radio golf card, the savings.
Nice.
But it's just a good deal. That's all it is. It's just a good deal. You can play Park Mammoth, Old Capitol, Elk Run, Valley View, Wooded View, Christmas Lake, Santa Claus, in Santa Claus, Indiana. Great course. The card's valued at over $350, but we're going to get it for under $150. Supplies are limited. You can go to bigxsportsradio.com, 812-725-1457. These will run out. 812-725-1457, bigxsportsradio.com. The 2026 Big X Sports Radio golf card. You cannot afford to miss this if you're a golfer or you know a golfer. Go ahead and just get it taken off the gift list right now and start using it. Why not? The sooner you get it, the quicker you can start. Get 2 of them for all I care. Yep. Play all these, get all the savings twice. All right, we'll make some picks for you for tonight, the Sweet 16. The roll call picks are presented by Chad Hennessy of InsureMax, proudly serving the Louisville area for over 25 years. Call Chad Hennessy at InsureMax, 502-479-4085. 2-0 night last night. What do you all, anything jump out tonight for you fellas? Obviously, besides the Kings, of course. That's not an official pick.
Okay, Duke St. John's, what's the spread on that one? Have that one pulled up.
Yeah, that is a 6.5-point spread. Duke is the favorite. It's a low over-under of 140.5. Michigan given 8.5 in that one. UConn 2.5, and Iowa State 4.5.
Ooh, Iowa State favored by 4.5.
Yes, unfortunately, I like Tennessee to cover.
I do like Tennessee to cover.
One of my picks of the night. U of L baseball. You can get them just to win outright at minus 120. They're going to beat Pittsburgh. So, I didn't say it had to be college basketball winners. But unfortunately, I think Duke probably covers, rolls. Oh, and also, one more thing. Sorry, I want to get this out because I like winners. Phylon scoring over 24 points. Are you kidding me?
No.
Easily. Everybody have a great night. Have a good weekend. Be well. We'll see what Matt Rife has in store for me. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big Ash Sports Radio. Yeah.